home, and I just added these two things, documentary Unreported World and Doc's RT station. And RT is this they're this organization that it's like Russian Times or something like that. Let me go into that and actually come back out of that, and then I'm going to go new, and then I'm going to come back down into RT station, and I'm going to set up here the seed value, which I think is 11, what I'm using. Maybe I can get to it in enough time before it changes the video. So I need to put up here, dang it, stop it. I go up and put it to this. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll just put in here seed equals 11 and see if we can get it. Yeah, this is the exact video, and I'm going to try to size this down if I can. There we go. And try to capture it before it. But it is really cool. It's this really cool. So I'm going to go full screen, and I'm going to go back. And so I won't really talk. I really won't put the video, because if I do, then they're going to catch me for copyright infringement. But essentially what they did in this particular show, and I just randomly happened on it. I didn't actually search it out. I used my station, and what my station does on Rock Me Amadeus is it selects from a number of playlists, and I could only bring in. I didn't really need what ended up being 6 playlists. Each one was about 390 videos. I can handle up to about 1,000, but 390 makes it manageable per channel, per playlist. And so I basically sucked up 9 years worth of RT videos. And how I do that is, well, it's kind of a secret sauce, but I basically figure out some way to suck the HTML out of the entire collection of videos, and it's kind of, you have to double load the page, because YouTube has a tendency to stick extra videos inside of the page that are it trying to guess what videos you might also watch, and so it preloads it with these videos, so you have to load it a second time. If you load it a second time, it won't load those videos in, and you'll only get the videos that are on the page. And what my scripts do is they basically look for the YouTube video codes, and it can pretty easily recognize them, as they're just 11-digit character code. And I glean those codes from the page, and they show up in the images or the thumbnails, as well as the actual video codes elsewhere. And so I glean the codes, and then I sort them, and then I remove the doubles, and I'm able to load them into a playlist. And so I have about 6 playlists. And in this case, I can't use the bookmarklets to collect the videos. I have to use a script on the site to collect the videos. And that's how I get videos off the page. Actually, in this case, I actually glean everything that's on the page, and then I use a Unix split function to split the videos by line to a certain number of bytes, and which is the -C option, capital C option, and so it'll split it up into like 6 parts. I actually can't select the number of parts it does, But what it will do is it will it will cut it down by that. It'll pick whatever's closest to, and I do about 3 MB. Whatever's closest to 3 MB in terms of number of videos or number of lines. And the reason why I do it by line is because I don't want to munge a video code by selecting the number of bytes. I want to get the actual complete video code, and that will appear on one line. That I used to collect video codes by just equally splitting it by bytes, but that reduces the number of video codes by, say, 5 or 6, because you run this potential of cutting right into a video code. It might reduce it to 1 or 2, but it's I want to get all the videos. I don't want to get some subset. Anyhow, I collected all the stuff for RT News, and I put it into 6 separate playlists, and then I use a thing called a station, which what it does is it selects from those 6 video feeds, and it tries to fit it into what I call a format. I use the same method that you use on a color lookup table for when you produce images on an old computer. They would use a thing called a color lookup table, and I treat each color as being each playlist. And so I'm trying to fill in with a certain amount of paint, which is the playlist, into a image, which is my format, and I'm able to just pick up all the videos that are in each paint color. So the color is really just it's an idea. It's a way of I try to separate things out, and it collects randomly from those playlists, and the playlists are equally in size, which guarantees that they're going to be pretty much an equal amount of each playlist inside the station playlist. And the station playlist is generated according to how long the duration is of the playlist. And so that every time a duration of the playlist has been completely completed, it regenerates the dynamic playlist that the station produces according to the format. And then that way you're guaranteed to always get a certain form or order of videos into the playlist. The playlists are likely going to be shuffled anyhow, but you don't, on the normal player, you're going to get one video after another, and it's going to make it possible to, say, if you wanted to, have a bunch of long shows and then have short shows in between, which could be like advertisements if you really wanted to do that. Or they could be like trailers and stuff. And I basically collected for each of the groups a consecutive number of videos. So if you really want to see consecutive videos, you would go to the main RT docs playlists, which I place elsewhere in my site. If you want to experience a random selection, you would use the station, and you'll come upon videos like this one, where this lady went to the Maasai tribe in Africa, and unlike an American reporter, she decided to try to become a Maasai lady. And so she comes out looking like a Maasai lady, and they actually talk about the culture of the Maasai and how they live, and she lived just like one of them. And then they did a ritual to make her to give her a name and make her a part of the group. But then they said part of the collection, part of this, the idea of doing this was that then they would have 2 or 3 of their guys go to Moscow and experience what it's like to be in Moscow. And so part of the fun of watching the video is to see their expressions about what it was like to live in Russia or in Moscow, and in our world, how they would come about, and then I guess return to their world. So you're going to get a different kind of style of documentary, and it's going to be from a Russian perspective of how to integrate with other cultures. And this is what I say is, this is the way that you're supposed to, if you're a Christian, you're supposed to integrate with other people, is to come to understand their end of things. And when I came up with this, taking down documentaries from the site, I wasn't really sure what I would get, and I was just wondering, boy, I sure hope they do good documentaries. And when I saw this, I was like, yeah, they done it right. They've done it the right way. And so I just wanted to share that with you. This is now on Rock Me Amadeus, which is my website. And so if I size this down, or maybe size it up and then bring it down, this is the new player. I really want to change the way it looks, but the way I designed it was so I could stick more buttons inside the interface. What I probably should do is just use icons and not actually use these links. But the whole idea of it is function over form. The original method is, and you can get to it by going into this line up here and putting where it says MTV Play. You could put 2 here, and yeah, it's a little hard. It's not like let me select. Oh, there we go. If I just lightly tap it, then I can put 2 in here in PHP and hit go, and it does this. And so this is where it ends up.
Kind of even kills me.
Talking about transgender reality in the U.S. And so, yeah, they really cover everything. It's really kind of cool. So I was just wanting to share that with you, the RT station. And you can go to the home folder, and you have everything. You have even stuff with me in it. Songs from a Room, Google Talks, the 1% documentary, Bee Gees. Here, this is talking about Mark Shuttleworth.
Actual opportunities for people to start making the switch. The issues that we're going to find.
This is the guy who created Ubuntu.
How do I get my music device to work with Linux? How do I get my Bluetooth phone to talk to Linux so that I can synchronize my mail client address book with my phone address book? And the good news there is that because open source is open source, all it takes is one person somewhere in the world to solve that problem.
Now, the reason why it went back to the old
player, what my experience has been like,
is because I need to change this to go to the old player, and then I need to go back. If I go back to that, then it should use the new player. Actually, it went to what was stored in the thing already. So I said I want the old player, and then I click on that, and
like it doesn't have to be right or left. It's like make it left. If you want to select that other thing, it's control left. I don't know. I feel like it's not.
And for the tablets nowadays, and tablets, and for those things, we have to look at where does it go to, or how long are we keep using my mouse.
Yeah.
You use a tablet yourself?
Yeah.
Sometimes?
Yeah.
With Blender? No.
Oh, for sculpting. Yeah.
Ah. Okay, but I think the tablets are very nice.
This is the guy that created Blender. I actually
that's
know
what
him.
we have to make work.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course we work on it.
I've met him several times. He's met me.
So I'm allowed to contribute to the interface.
Of course.
I thought I was expelled from the discussion.
Make mock-ups, come with designs, ideas, see what other people are doing.
Yeah.
Of course.
There's a lot of politics in interface, isn't there?
Nah.
No?
Nah. It's okay. What is politics? I mean, the politics part is that you should collaborate and look at what other people are doing and not trying to push one thing at the
It's kind of hard to understand.
If you start having discussions on that level, like people say, yeah, but everybody or the market standard is, and that's why we. That's always confusing discussions. Because we will never agree on those things. So what you can better look at is, okay, so how can we create the optimal workflow for Blender users? How does it work? What are the things to make sure that the experience is optimal, that you can work fast, and that you have a good ergonomic workflow.
I mean, it takes
those kind of discussions are more useful. If you agree on that level, then you can say, okay, we have a nice design, but it is not standard. So that means that people have to learn it. And not everybody likes to do that. Some people say, I don't want to learn anything new. I want to copy what I know from Maya or Max or another program, and I want Blender to reward that behavior. Right? But I do Alt-click for viewport rotate in Maya, and that has grown on to me, and I want to keep using that.
Yeah. So what he's saying is that I want to encourage people's abilities to learn the software and to own it. And one of the big problems with 3D software is the tendency to create new interfaces, and so the artists have to learn. But artists are these special beasts that if you show them that there's a way to create something that they've never been able to do, they're willing to go through all the painful acts of trying to, all the rituals of the interface to try to get.
And of course we should.
I leave that, all the ritual acts to try to get through the interface and learn the software. And I learned this by working with artists, and I kind of prided myself in being able to master the interface. But whenever I got a really bad interface, I had a tendency to kind of cuss at it, and but they wouldn't cuss at anything. They were just kind of like, great, I know how to get through all the 7 layers of menus in order to get the one function I want, and to do this I have to do these other 7 layers of actions and stuff. And so they find their own way through it. They document it. They'll do whatever that it takes to actually do the work. And I could just see myself in the future being an animator and then having to, like, you know, overcome other people's interfaces, just bad interfaces. And I determined that I'm just really kind of a different beast from what an animator and artist is. I would probably have been better if I had tried to become a technical director, but then again, I wouldn't be here saying this, describing this technology and showing you people like Tun and all this, and adding this RT to try to encourage people to. So you see, we will find value in one way or another in how to communicate to the world, and it's just that I grew a different way than what normal people, and that's always been my thing, is that I've always been curious about the path that nobody goes, and I don't know if that's the right path or if that's the wrong path, but I just go a different way because I've always been different from other people. So going the different way was my way of kind of saying this is the way I'd rather do things. It hasn't been the most strong and heroic, and it was. I haven't really. I've chosen the weak path to some degree. Kind of, I have a tendency to flank hard paths. But then I also took on a lot of hard paths as well. So it was really just, I guess, to some degree, rather than choosing my path, I've just kind of chose stupidity of just going wherever I thought I could go and doing that instead of picking a normal path like everybody else tends to.